This is the plaintiff, Francesca Carrier. She says she hired the defendant to babysit for her pet hamster, Urby, when she went away and the guy lost her beloved friend. That's right. He called her to tell her he got out of his habitat and he couldn't find him anywhere. She's so upset she's in a state of emotional distress and is suing for the $1,500 she's owed. This is the defendant, Anthony Aversano. He says he runs a pet shop, been in business for 40 years, and has never had a pet escape. Unfortunately, the enclosure the plaintiff brought the hamster into his shop in was missing the clips that secure the top screen. He feels horrible. He gave her a new hamster and doesn't feel he's responsible for the plaintiff's emotional distress. He's accused of losing a hammy.
All parties, please use your right hand. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milianos presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Carrier, you are suing Mr. Aversano, doing business as Fishbowl Pets, for $1,500 for emotional distress because he lost your pet hamster. Tell me what happened.
What happened was my brother over here, my witness, we went away for 4 days and we left in the care of Mr. Anthony over here. And
How long had you had the hamster?
It would have been a whole year, and he was.
You'd had the hamster for a year. What was the hamster's name?
Urby.
Okay.
And he was a very nice hamster, and I had him for almost a year. Was in perfect health, and I found out about this place because my brother doesn't live too far away from his establishment, and they have a reputable business. They were in business for 38 years, and I figured to myself, I said, well, this seems really good, and plus the price was reasonable, very reasonable.
So they, besides selling pets, they also board pets?
Yes, they have like a little hotel there too, besides selling animals.
And the charge was how much for boarding the hamster? Why don't you come on up, brother?
$7 a night.
Okay. And then you guys took a vacation to where?
Newport, Rhode Island.
All right. And spent a few days there. And then when you come back, tell me what happens, Ms. Carrier.
Well, actually, he told me he comes over to the house. And,
well, why don't you, what's your name?
Paul Carrier.
Okay, Mr. Carrier, tell me what happened.
Well, we were still in Newport, and I got a message from Tony saying that the hamster had gotten out, was lost in the pet shop, so that they would try to find him because we were coming back the next day. So I didn't tell my sister right away because I didn't want to wreck the vacation.
Right.
So the next day when we were coming back, I got in touch with them saying, have you found him? And they hadn't found him.
Yeah.
So I had to tell her that he had escaped. So we went to the pet shop, and pretty much, she was pretty devastated by it. And the hardest thing for me was to see her walk through the pet shop calling the pet's name, Urby, and he's lost. He was gone. And his cage was like a terrarium, so it was a glass cage with a top on it. And they put clips on it to...
Why did they have to put clips on it? Didn't the thing come with clips already?
No, I use a candle. I use a candle, a heavy candle, because they are able to get out of the cage if you don't have anything that's strong.
Or if you don't have clips that work, right?
Well,
like, does the terrarium has like a plastic piece on top, and what holds it in place are some clips, right?
Yeah, that's what they told me. They said, oh, we don't need the candle because this is very strong, and I believed them, and I really, I was really assured of that. And then
when you brought the terrarium over to them, it didn't have its own clips?
No, we didn't have any. We didn't have
All right,
the clips,
and you tell them that, and then you say, I usually put a book or a candle on top to weigh it down, and he says, what?
No, it was her. She said.
Or she says?
She said to me, "Oh, we don't need it because these clips are very
So she
secure."
She put her own clips on it.
That's right.
All right. What happened?
It's a mystery. It really is. A couple of days after the hamster showed up for boarding, we noticed that the screen top was ajar. Like the plaintiff said, we put screen clips on it, and normally that clips the screen onto the lip of the aquarium, making it impossible for the hamster to get out. Now, Did a customer pop a screen clip off? Did we inadvertently leave?
Well, she wouldn't pop it off.
No, some other customer
Oh,
in
I
the
see.
store walking around.
Does another customer have access to the?
Well, basically, the boarding animals are on the main floor of the store. They're labeled boarding, and normally we won't allow someone to go into a cage of a boarding animal because it's not their animal. But we allow customers to pet our pets.
What, right, but I'm not loving the idea that you said, well, did a customer take over? The customer shouldn't have access to
No,
those
my point
animals.
is, we don't really know what happened, Your Honor.
So was Urby ever found?
No, unfortunately not. We did search high and low, but we didn't find anything, any hamster. I'd be willing to offer the plaintiff another replacement hamster to see if that works this time.
You had actually offered her that at the time.
Right, and she had it for several days and then returned it saying it wasn't the same
Didn't have
hamster.
the same disposition or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, and when she returned it, did she say anything else to you, like, let's try another one, or no, or there's no
not
replacement
really,
for
but-
Urby, or?
No, but since then, I've actually reached out to a woman who lives in Norwalk who second homes pets, and she would be willing to meet with the plaintiff as a bereavement counselor if that's something that she would like to do.
How is she qualified to be a bereavement counselor?
Well, she's had pets her whole life, and she basically feels that she knows pets and the life that they lead, and when they leave, what happens to the owner.
Yeah.
So,
Ms. Carrier, you're suing for $1,500 for emotional distress.
Yes.
I need to hear about the emotional distress.
Well, emotional stress is, I have mental illness, and I have bipolar and all that, and I live alone, and, and that hamster was my hamster, and I always had hamsters because wherever I live, they don't allow it, like dogs, and, and I can't afford a dog because I don't have that much money. I mean, I have SSI and all that, and I just...
Right. How did things change when Urby went missing? Because you're describing the difficulties that you had before Urby went missing.
Well, after he went missing, I was like in shock, like he was saying, my brother was saying, I went around the store and I went downstairs. It's like a big store they have, and I was calling his name. It was useless and all that, and I was in shock. And then, like I said, they offered me another pet, and I looked at it. He was cute, and I said, I'll take it. But I really was in my right mind, and I didn't really want it. I wanted my own hamster. I just couldn't believe it. I was looking forward to seeing my hamster,
Can I say something, Your Honor?
Yeah.
I visit her every day, and she'd be crying all the time, She was very upset and, crying all the time and depressed, more so than she had been before. And there was no way that I could, kind of lift her out of that darkness. And the attachment was very strong.
Is it just the two of you?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a good brother.
Welcome back to the People's Court. I'm Harvey Levin. The plaintiff says the defendant lost her beloved hamster, Urby, the love of her life, and says she is now in a deep state of emotional distress. The defendant says the clips on the cage the plaintiff brought the hamster into her pet shop were defective, and that's why he escaped. Let's go back into the courtroom.
Here's the thing, though. I know, because I've had pets all my life, and because I would lay my life down for my dog, that we think of them as humans, and we think of them as our children, and they're a huge part of everything we do and feel. But in the eyes of the law, a pet is property. And so when something this awful happens, what you're entitled to is the value of the property. You're not entitled to emotional distress, no matter how emotionally distressing it is. And I know it is. There's nothing like the loss of a pet, especially under these circumstances where you just don't even know what happened. I'd like to think that Urby is somewhere because is it a he or a she?
It was a little boy.
Okay, because he was so cute that someone took him maybe, and so he's happy and alive and not hurting or something. I don't know. but we don't know what happened, but you are certainly entitled to the value of the hamster because that's what the law entitles you to have, but not pain and suffering, because everyone's pain and suffering would be measured very differently. A property could be worth $30, but your pain and suffering could be worth $10,000, or a property could be worth $2,000 because it was a breed dog, and then your pain and suffering will be worth, it's too much of a mess for the law to be able to keep control of, because there is a difference between animals and humans in the eyes of the law. And so what you're entitled to is the value of a hamster, not the value of this hamster to you, but the value of a hamster. Hamsters run about what, 30 bucks?
$30.
Yeah. So would you like Mr. Aversano to try to get you another hamster, or would you rather he pay you the value of your hamster that he lost? He's already returned the boarding fee, obviously, right? Yeah, I thought so. It's your choice.
Well, actually, I went through a lot of hamsters, before, after I got his, because I was looking for one, and I finally found one.
Oh, good.
And he's almost like my little Urby, and
Good.
I'm happy with him
Good.
everything, and I'll be happy with the...
Got it. So what's your new hamster's name?
His name is Salem.
Okay. I wish a long and fruitful relationship between you and this hamster.
I hope so, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I say something else, too?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have brought to him because the person that usually takes care of him was away.
Yeah.
And that was the only reason why, because I don't usually have anybody else.
Has this ever happened to you before?
Never.
How long have you been in business?
Almost 40 years.
Yeah.
Thousands of occurrences, of
Yeah.
boardings.
So I'm sure you felt awful.
Oh, yeah. In fact, what we'll do is we'll double the clips around the cage to make it,
Yeah.
near impossible.
Right.
Or if,
Yeah. I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff and the value of the hamster, which is $30, which I note that you have tried to, I know you had tried to replace the hamster already. That's my ruling. Good luck, folks.
So the plaintiff prevails in this case. She gets a judgment for $30, not $1,500. Most of that, of course, was for pain and suffering, which she does not get. Mr. Aversano, the defendant's on his way out of the courtroom. I assume you're fine with this?
yes, I'm satisfied with the ruling. I think it was fair.
And I know you're upset. You explained that to the judge. This hasn't happened before.
No, never. Thousands of occurrences, but it'll never happen again.
All right, let's talk to Ms. Carrier now, see how she feels about this. It seems like she's acceptable to it. Ms. Carrier, talk to me about the new hamster you have now, and you're okay with this. Is that right?
I'm all right with it. It was the principle of the thing, actually, and, I'm happy with my new hamster I have right now. It took me a while to find one, but, it was compatible with me, close to the one I had, Urby, so...
I know he feels terrible about this.
Oh,
Let me ask you, a lot of people have hamsters as pets. I had hamsters when I was younger. Is it hard? I've forgotten to tell you the truth. Is it hard to build a relationship with a hamster like you can other animals?
Oh, yes, it is. Believe me, it is. I've had hamsters for a long time, and it's not just dogs and cats and and all that. It's it's also people sometimes think, oh, it's a rodent, it's nothing, but it's not. It's a little pet, and hamsters are very cute. They're very adorable. There's all kind of hamsters, and so I love my hamster, and that's all that matters. It was a pet to me. It was my family pet. It was my only pet, and
we certainly understand, and we're sorry for your loss, but good luck with your new pet. All right.
All right.
Thank you very much. You did win. You get the $30.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good enough. All right. Thank you. All right, Harvey. You ever have a hamster as a pet? They are nice.
As a matter of fact, Doug, I did have a hamster, and his name was Digger. And I was 6 or 7 years old when one day Digger was not in his cage when I came home from school, and my mom said Digger went off to camp, and I never saw Digger again. R.I.P.
Judges, when your daughters date someone, do you check their background?
No.
Come on, you who are the most cynical,
I
untrusting
am,
person on the planet of the earth, You do background checks before somebody can wash your car.
That's not true, but
you're pretty cautious.
I'm pretty cautious, I am, and I'm also very suspicious, but, you know, I wasn't going to do a background check on a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old.
Right.
Now they're older, and yeah, I suppose if they met...
It's hard to get those juvie records, too. They're all sealed.
Right, but they're in their 20s. I suppose if someone came in out of the blue...
Right.
I might, but if I didn't raise 3 women who can pick them,
right.
I did something wrong. And I realize people can make mistakes, and you can get hurt with a mistake. But
you'd ask around.
I would ask around, but I wouldn't. It wouldn't occur to me that they would have a criminal background. But I would definitely ask around.
Right.
And even when they were dating in high school, I would always ask around and see who knew who.
But you look back at the kids, at the boys that your daughters have dated, our daughters have dated. There's nobody really who.
No, I love all of them. And I had no boys, so whenever there was a boy hanging around on my sofa, I was so happy.
Right.
You know,
they were all decent.
Yeah, they were all good kids.
So we've been lucky.
Then the kids break up with them, and all of a sudden, wait a second.
Yeah,
I didn't agree to this. I still want to see him.
Yeah, your attitude after they break up is you want to maintain the relationship with the boy and get rid of your daughter. Right? Pretty much. Now she can go. I get the boy.
I want to keep that.